Among the Yoruba people of Nigeria, there is a proverb, Iwa ni Esin, which means character is religion. In those 3 words lies the heart of a faith older than writing itself. In this book, the scholar Aloysius Lugira presents African traditional religion not as superstition or folklore, but as the one great world religion that can truly claim to have been born in Africa. Practiced by hundreds of millions of people across a vast continent, it has no single founder, no holy book, and no central church. Instead, it lives in proverb and ritual, in the names of God and the honoring of ancestors. This is the story of that religion, its beliefs, its spirit world, its sacred places, and its long journey from dismissal to recognition as a faith among the faiths of the world.
African religion, Lugira argues, is fundamentally one, even as it is many. There are as many African religions as there are African peoples, more than 6,000 of them, each with its own myths, deities, and rituals. Yet in their diversity, they are one. Whether in Central, Eastern, Western, or Southern Africa, 3 cornerstones reappear: belief in a supreme being, the honoring of superhuman spirits, and reverence for ancestors. Religion here is not something done at certain times in certain places. It is woven into the fabric of living, so tightly bound to culture that the two cannot be separated. To understand this faith is to understand how Africans have, for thousands of years, sought answers to the deepest questions of existence. Why are we here? How do we live well? And why do we die?
First, the continent itself, its hundreds of millions of believers, and the religions that met and mingled across its history. More than 930 million people live on the African continent. In the bustling cities of the north, Cairo, Tripoli, Tunis, and Algiers, the religion is predominantly Islam. Along the eastern and western coasts, and in the south, Christianity prevails. Yet throughout Africa, communities still follow ways of life stretching back thousands of years. The book opens with the elders of the Kikuyu people of Kenya gathering beneath a sacred tree. Facing Mount Kenya, the leading elder raises calabashes of milk and honey beer and prays to Mwene Nyaga, possessor of brightness, begging him to bring rain of prosperity. The people answer, "Peace, we beseech you, Ngai." In 5 countries, Benin, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, and the Ivory Coast, African religion remains the religion of the majority. And in Sierra Leone, Botswana, and Burkina Faso, more than 1/3 of the people still follow the ways of their ancestors. Beginning in prehistoric times, the peoples of Africa gathered in groups bound by family ties and shared needs. Cut off from one another by deserts, forests, and great distances, they developed their own languages, customs, and religious practices suited to their particular lives. Scholars estimate there are more than 6,000 different peoples in Africa today. Lugira surveys them region by region: the Dinka, Nuer, and Maasai of the east, the Yoruba, Ashanti, Dogon, and Fon of the west, the Zulu, Xhosa, and San of the south, the Baluba and Bakongo of the center. Some of these religions, like the ancient Egyptian and Berber faiths of the north, have become obsolete, swept aside by Christianity and Islam. But across sub-Saharan Africa, the living religions endure, each a distinct expression of the same underlying spirit. Followers of African religion make no distinction between religion and the rest of life. Their beliefs are so closely bound to their culture that the two are one. A supreme being reigns above, but lesser gods, spirits, and ancestors walk beside the living,
guiding them and sometimes displeased by those who ignore them. The worldview is profoundly communal. The noted scholar John M. Beatty captured it in a famous saying, "I am because we are, and since we are, therefore I am." Whatever happens to the individual happens to the whole group, and whatever happens to the group happens to the individual. People share property and services and expect the same in return. In this community spirit lies their security. The living dead, the ancestors, and those yet to be born all belong to one unbroken community. Though much of Africa was isolated, its coasts gave birth to mighty cultures. By 3400 BCE, Egypt was a flourishing empire whose pyramids were not merely wonders of engineering, but religious structures, ritual objects reflecting the ancient bond of kingship to religion and belief in immortality. The word for pyramid meant place of ascension, enabling the pharaoh to join the sun god Re. Other faiths took root early. As far back as 1300 BCE, Hebrew peoples lived in Egypt, and in Ethiopia, the Falashas, the Black Jews, have practiced a religion based on the Old Testament since biblical times. Christianity reached Alexandria around 40 CE. The Copts traced their roots to St. Mark. North Africa produced great Christian leaders, such as Tertullian and St. Augustine. In 350 CE, the Aksumite king Ezana embraced Christianity, founding Ethiopian Christianity. When Muslims arrived in the 7th century, they did not recognize African religion as a religion at all. They called the people Kaffirs, meaning infidels or unbelievers, and the name stuck. Islam spread without forced conversion, proving attractive especially in the north, and is today one of the continent's most dynamic faiths. In the 15th century, the Portuguese came seeking gold, ivory, and a route to Asia. Prince Henry the Navigator won the Pope's blessing to conquer and convert. But the missionaries failed to understand African culture, grew hostile, and finally succumbed to the slave trade. During the 19th century scramble for Africa, European powers carved up the continent and sent new waves of missionaries. Some, living among the people, slowly came to appreciate African religion. Christianity is now the majority faith, followed by more than 46% of Africans. With no holy book, the wisdom of African religion passes mouth to mouth in myths of creation, tales of heroes, and the sharp truth of Proverbs. African religious lore has always been passed down orally. There is no written set of beliefs, no Bible or Quran. Cultural rules and sacred stories travel from generation to generation by word of mouth, and from childhood, community members are trained to perform prodigious feats of memorization, reciting the whole history of their people. This oral tradition takes 4 forms. Myths deal with the divine, the origin of the universe and of nature, answering where humankind came from and how people should live. Legends gather the stories of families, and especially heroes, often based on real people, retold until they become the community's lore. Stories and fables teach ethics and right behavior, usually ending with a moral. And proverbs are short, memorable sayings that distill wisdom about creation and human experience into a single sharp phrase. From their earliest beginnings, African peoples have asked, "Who are we? How did we come to be here?" Their answers live in rich and varied creation myths, which center on a supreme being who made the world. In the Yoruba myth, the supreme being Olodumare enlists Orisha-Nla, the great god, to fashion a world out of magic earth. Orisha-Nla shapes human bodies from clay, but only Olodumare knows the secret of giving them life. And to this day, the myth says, parents make the body, while only the supreme being can grant the soul. Many myths recall a time when heaven was very close to earth. The Dinka tell of a rope that once hung from the sky, until an old woman pounding yams kept striking heaven with her pestle, and the wearied god withdrew the heavens forever beyond reach. Hero tales encourage a positive group image,
And in African tradition, many heroes are human beings who are deified, elevated to the status of gods through great deeds. Lubale Mukasa of the Baganda is one such hero. As a child, he vanished from home and appeared mysteriously on a distant island. He ate only the heart and liver of an ox and drank its blood, confirming the people's belief that he was a god. They consulted him on health and wealth, and when he disappeared as strangely as he had come, he was ranked among their highest gods. Fables teach ethics through entertainment. The most famous folk hero is Anansi the spider, hero of the Akan. A trickster with superhuman powers and human flaws of greed and envy, Father Anansi is often caught in his own snares, his cleverness a lesson in itself. Proverbs are the diamonds of the oral tradition, short sayings that express a recognized truth, repeated so often they are easy to remember. Through them, African peoples voice their belief in God and His works. The Nupe of West Africa declare that God will outlive eternity. The Akan call God Nyame, the Shining One, the originator, the first mover of everything, and their proverbs ring with His majesty. The earth is wide, but Nyame is chief. All people are Nyame's offspring. No one is the offspring of earth. There is no bypass to Nyame's destiny. Proverbs also teach human wisdom, reverence for justice, sympathy and fellow feeling, the futility of envy. Look at your 5 fingers, one says. Are they equal? So are human beings. Through such sayings, the whole ethical world of a people is carried in a handful of words. Above the spirits and the ancestors stands one supreme being, known across Africa by 1,000 names, but recognized everywhere as the creator of all.
In Western thought, religions are usually classed as either monotheistic, believing in one god, or polytheistic, believing in many. In African religion, the two exist side by side. The Akan pattern J Nyame, meaning accept God, once appeared on a Ghanaian postage stamp under the title The Omniscience of God, prompting a collector to remark how fitting that an African country should be the first to remind the world of God's power on a stamp. It completes a proverb: no one saw the beginning, none shall see the end, except God. African monotheism is often a hierarchy, with a supreme being at its head, ruling over a host of divinities who serve as his associates, much as the Christian God rules over saints and angels. This structure lets African religion be called monotheistic and polytheistic at once, monotheism with polytheism.
How a people conceives of God usually follows its own social structure. Peoples organized as monarchies imagine God as the supreme king. Since there can be only one supreme king, they conclude there can be only one supreme being for all humankind. Most African peoples conceive of God as one, but with striking variations. Among the Fon of Benin, Nana Buluku expresses God as a duality, both male and female. The most complex concept belongs to the Bambara of West Africa, whose god Bemba, or Ngala, has created himself as a quaternity, a union of 4. The 4 aspects, Bemba, master of air, Nyale of fire, Pharaoh of water, and Namdamajiri of earth, are pure creative energy expressed as 4 persons, each playing a role in creation, somewhat as the Christian Trinity is 3 in 1. Across the continent, African peoples associate their supreme being with 4 basic attributes. First, God is the creator of all things. African myths from prehistory to the present recognize creation as his foremost quality, and many names for God mean originator, the first to make anything. Second, God is the controller and sustainer of the universe, the far-off driving force behind everything, the balance of nature. The Bambuti of Congo say, if God should die, the world would also collapse. Third, God is the provider, The Ubuntu name for God means he who supplies the needs of his creatures, and the Baganda say, God gives his gifts to whomsoever he favors. Fourth, God is the possessor of all he created. The Nuer of Sudan, when a person or a cow dies, neither grumble nor complain, but simply say that God has taken only what was his own. The names by which Africans call God reveal both a deep unity of thought and a glorious diversity of expression. In Burundi and Rwanda, he is Imana, the creator of everything. In Cameroon, the Bamum call him Njini, he who is everywhere, who sees and hears everything. The Baganda of Uganda name him Katonda, creator and originator. The Ashanti of Ghana call him Nyame, the shining one. The Akan, Onyankopon, alone the great one. The Yoruba name him Olodumare, the most supreme being. The Igbo, Chukwu, the great spirit. In the south, the Zulu and Ndebele know him as Unkulunkulu, the great oldest one. The Tswana as Modimo, the greatest spirit. The Shona as Muwari, who owns the sky. From the Banyarwanda comes the simplest creed of all. There was nothing before God created the world. The Supreme Being rules from heaven, but delegates the daily affairs of the world to a vast host of spirits, divinities, guardians, and ancestors, ever present and close at hand. In most traditions, the Supreme Being is not involved in the day-to-day affairs of human beings. That work he delegates to the lesser gods of the spirit world, beings who occupy the space between heaven and earth, invisibly treading the ground, so they are continually present. Lugira asks us to imagine the universe as a government. At its head is the Creator, ever present but distant. Beneath him serve his associates, also divine, but of a lesser order, made to head departments and manage the human world. These divinities are local gods, intimately tied to particular peoples and situations, each with a specific function. Taken together, they form a pantheon, the term for all the gods of a people. Below them stand intermediaries, guardian spirits, and ancestors, the go-betweens and protectors who keep humanity connected to the powers above. Spirits are found everywhere. No corner of the earth is without them, and the more something commands awe by its size, beauty, or power, the more it becomes identified with spirit. Spiritual guardians protect communities. The spirit of a mountain, a river, or an extraordinarily huge tree may guard a locality, and even a leopard may serve as the anchorage of a guardian spirit. The dead, too, belong to the spirit world. When a person dies, the soul separates from the body and becomes a spirit, an elevation from human to superhuman, entering the state of immortality. Africans do not worship their ancestors, but they venerate and respect them as unceasing guardians of the living. The Edo of Nigeria bury their dead with feet pointing west toward the old port of Benin, from which the departed embark in canoes to cross the sea to the spirit world. The Yoruba are a Nigerian people of some 12 million, with one of Africa's richest religious traditions. At the summit stands Olodumare, the Supreme Being. Below him are the divinities known as the Orisa, a pantheon numbering as many as 1,700. Second in command is Orisanla, also called Obatala, the offspring of Olodumare and his deputy. He created the earth and the physical bodies of human beings and is called the Maker. Orunmila is the god of divination, endowed by Olodumare with special wisdom and foreknowledge. Anyone wishing to know the future consults Orunmila through his priest, the Babalawo, using the sacred system of Ifa, which devotees consult before undertaking anything important. Among the Yoruba, morality itself is summed up in the word Iwa, character. As their saying goes, character is all that is requisite. Esu is the most complex of the Orisa, containing both good and evil. He serves as a special relations officer between heaven and earth, the inspector general who reports to Olodumare on the conduct of gods and humans alike, checking the correctness of worship and sacrifice. Because his reports can mean life or death, the Yoruba strive to stay on good terms with him, and he holds a place in every shrine, a trickster figure to be handled with care. Ogun is the divinity of war and of iron, hard and tough as steel. All iron and steel are his possessions. He rules over oaths and covenants, and in local courts, the Yoruba swear not on a Bible or Quran, but by kissing a piece of iron. Ogun is patron of warriors and hunters, blacksmiths and engineers, mechanics, drivers, and all who work in metal.
The Baganda of Uganda call their pantheon the Lubale, beings from the dome of the sky, numbering about 70 divinities, with the creator Katonda as father of the gods. Gulu is the sky god. Walumbe, whose name means Mr. Death, lives in the underworld as the divinity of death, with a temple at Tanda that reminds the people death exists. Mukasa, a deified hero, ranks highest among the spirits in daily contact with humans, consulted for health and fertility. Far to the west, the Fon of Benin worship the Vodun, ruled by the originator Nana Buluku, parent of the dual god Maulisa, female moon and male sun in one. Among the lesser Fon gods is Legba, the divine trickster and messenger, through whom alone humans may approach Maulisa, and whose worship would later cross the sea to become Haitian voodoo.
From birth to death, ritual carries the African through every passage of life, guided by priests, diviners, healers, mediums, and rainmakers. Rites of passage move people smoothly through the stages of life: birth, puberty, marriage, aging, and death. The cycle begins with conception, regarded as a cooperative venture between the parents, their god, and the associate gods. The Banyarwanda and Burundi keep a little water in the house at night called Amazi Yimana, God's water, which God is supposed to use in his work of creation. When the time comes, experienced women act as midwives, for the midwife is a medicine woman, and healing is a religious activity. The newborn's placenta and umbilical cord receive special care. The Baganda believe a child is born with a twin, the mulongo, the placenta, which the mother buries at the foot of a banana tree. The name a child receives is meant to express the very essence of the person, and most African names carry religious meaning. All African names have specific meanings, and most reflect religious belief. The Igbo of Nigeria honor Chukwu, God, in names like Chukwudi, God lives, and Ifeani Chukwu, nothing is impossible with God. Puberty rites mark the passage from childhood to adulthood. Young people are initiated through physical rites or instructional retreats, where elders take them away from home to learn the arts of communal living, the duties and responsibilities of the community, and the facts of adult life. Physical initiation usually means circumcision. The so-called female circumcision is now a matter of deep controversy. The deaths it has caused have led international agencies and many traditional elders alike to demand the practice cease, even as hardline traditionalists defend it against modern trends such as the rights of women. Through initiation, the young are prepared as full adults of their people. In African thought, marriage is a religious obligation, the starting point of a new generation and of personal immortality through offspring. Without descendants, there is no one to care for the departed or to carry on the chain of reincarnation, so marriage must never be neglected. In a Zulu wedding, the families first negotiate the lobola, the bride payment, traditionally paid in cows. Then come ceremonies of feasting and gift exchange. When the two families have eaten together, The couple is joined as one. Death is the time when the soul leaves the body to become a spirit. Africans accept death as natural, yet feel each death has a cause linked to supernatural powers. The departed joins the world of the ancestors, and the community performs careful funeral rites so the spirit will be content and not return as a dissatisfied ghost. Rituals are the concrete expression of belief, and to Africans, belief without ritual action would lose much of religion's power. There are countless prayers, handed down orally and centuries old, addressed to God, the superhuman beings, and the ancestors, for life, health, healing, and prosperity. Music is the audible expression of prayer, and the drum is its key instrument, unlocking communication with the spirit world. Dance expresses religious emotion through the body. African ritual would be lifeless without song and dance together. Of all acts of worship, sacrifice is emphasized most, the giving up of something valuable, usually a bull, goat, or chicken, to honor a superior being. In agricultural rites, the people pray for rain and hold first fruit ceremonies, for the superhuman powers must eat of the new harvest before any human partakes of it. Ritual leaders guide the spiritual life of the community. In many lands, the king is also the high priest. In Buganda, the Kabaka controls the veneration of the national gods and confirms the choice of priests, for in African tradition, there is no separation of church and state. Priests, men or women, tend the temples of the gods. Diviners unveil the mysteries of past, present, and future, training 3 to 7 years to master the oral tradition and to read shells, pebbles, entrails, and water. Mediums, usually women, sink into a trance induced by drumming and song, and the spirit speaks through them. Healers, called musawo, the person with a bag, combine deep knowledge of medicinal herbs with the spiritual causes of illness. And rainmakers bring or withhold rain. Most renowned is the Rain Queen of the Balovedu of southern Africa. The whole universe is charged with the sacred, from mountain peaks to ancient ruins, and through it move the mystical forces of magic, witchcraft, and sorcery. For African people, the whole universe is filled with religious spirit, and all its elements are symbols of the divine. The sacred space of the universe has 3 parts. Above is the sky, the home of the Supreme Being. Below, the earth is the realm of the spirits. And in the middle is the earth, the world of humanity. The sun is a symbol of the Supreme Being across the continent, while the moon carries sacredness and serenity, its new appearance marked with ritual. Anything shrouded in mystery evokes the religious, and mountains and hills are most often identified as sacred. The peoples near Kilimanjaro, Mount Kenya, the Rwenzori Range, Mount Elgon, and Mount Cameroon make offerings and prayers upon them. The Zulus say their people did not merely originate, but came from heaven, as Olwini, the above, descending to Ponsi, the habitation of spirits below. Since the beginning of time, Africans have sensed a great invisible power surrounding all nature and have devised ways to contain it in human-made places. Temples are buildings where people gather to worship and ask favors. In Buganda, they may be conical and thatched, devoted to the worship of Mwari, the Shona Supreme Being. Tomb building reaches back millennia, from the pyramids of Egypt and Nubia to the Kasubi tombs of the kings of Buganda, tended by young priestesses who keep the fires burning. Sacred sculpture was a language of the inner life, every rite having its image. So powerful was this art that it influenced Picasso and Matisse and gave birth to Cubism. Picasso called these works among the most beautiful products of the human imagination. Beyond the spirits, Africans recognize mystical forces that lie between the human and superhuman.
Magic is the manipulation of mysterious forces for practical ends, and in African belief, it is neutral, neither illusion nor trickery, used for good or ill. There is always something of a magician in a ritual leader. Witchcraft is a dreaded force, blamed for childlessness, disease, failure, and death. Many believe the trait is inherited, and a witch may not even know his own power. Communities fight it through healers called witch doctors, who are not witches but respected protectors. Sorcery is darker still, the deliberate use of magic to harm, often through poison. The book recounts an event from the early 1960s in Ankole, Uganda, where a medicine man named Keegan Gali was said to have turned a quarrelsome wife, Nzera, into a lion, a deed still discussed in awe 40 years later. Dismissed for centuries as no religion at all, African religion has won recognition among the faiths of the world and now shapes lives far beyond the continent. For centuries, outsiders dismissed African religion through stereotype and prejudice. Muslims called Africans Kaffirs, unbelievers, and Christians later went so far as to name a whole region Kaffraria. African practice was branded fetishism, mere superstition and magic. It took some 300 years for scholars to recognize it as a true religion, passing first through the condescending label of primitive religion before settling simply on African religion. The turning point came with independence. In 1957, Ghana shook off colonialism, and the movement that followed restored the Africanness of the African people, sparking a religious comeback. In 1964, the Roman Catholic bishops of the Second Vatican Council accepted African religion as a full partner among world religions, a message carried back to nearly every Christian denomination. By 1977, Harvard University had inaugurated the teaching of African religion. African religion is deeply humanistic, and its humanism is summed up in the principle of Ubuntu. As Archbishop Desmond Tutu explained, Ubuntu means that a person is only a person through other persons, bound up with others in the bundle of life. Its influence reaches far beyond the continent. In Brazil, it lives in candomblé and macumba, in the Caribbean in Haitian Vodou, built on fawn worship, in Cuban Santeria, Trinidadian Shango, and Jamaican Rastafarianism. In the United States, the African Methodist Episcopal Church and the Negro Spiritual, born in slavery, carry African religious feeling in distinctly African style. In 1966, Malana Karenga founded Kwanzaa, the African-American holiday, whose name means the first fruits of the harvest, celebrating 7 principles of unity, self-determination, collective work, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. The history of African religion can be told in 3 ages: pre-colonial, colonial, and post-colonial. The very name Africa comes from the Afri, the people who lived around the city-state of Carthage. When Rome conquered Carthage in 146 BCE, it coined the name Africa, later stretched to the whole continent. For ages, sub-Saharan peoples practiced religion, evident in rock engravings, sand paintings dated some 25,000 years old, sculptures, and oral tradition. Then came the explorers, 10 Europeans between 1768 and 1892, among them Stanley, sent to find Livingstone at Lake Tanganyika. Their reports fed colonial ambitions, and the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885 arbitrarily divided Africa among European powers. The explorer Samuel Baker claimed in 1867 that Africans had no belief in a supreme being at all, and colonialism left native cultures, religion included, fractured and bleeding. World War II reshaped Africa. African soldiers who served abroad returned with the knowledge and confidence to work for the end of colonialism. The United Nations formed in 1945 and proclaimed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948.
Africans began demanding independence and even the return of religious objects, like the relics of Kibuka, the Baganda god of war, recovered from the United Kingdom. In 1957, Ghana became the first to win independence. New departments of religious studies rose at the universities of Ibadan, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Makerere, and Nairobi, teaching what came to be called African traditional religion. Healers now organize into associations, and international drug companies covet their knowledge of medicinal herbs, a new scramble for Africa. Yet that knowledge cannot be cut from its religious roots, posing one of the great challenges to the faith's future.
For ages, the peoples of Africa chose their elders as religious leaders and sages, the custodians of the community's spiritual needs, and there is no reason to believe these cornerstones will vanish. The scholar Geoffrey Perrinder recalled that colonial administrators often described Africans as an incurably religious people. Far from being wiped out by the influx of Christianity and Islam, African religion continues to thrive, its drums still unlocking the spirit world, its proverbs still teaching, its ancestors still honored. Where once the message was to erase it, today it is one of dialogue and respect. From the Kikuyu prayer beneath the sacred tree to the principle of Ubuntu carried across the world, this is a faith that answers the oldest questions of human life, and that, in the words of the Nupe, will outlive eternity. Thank you for listening.